This story was tagged to me on Twitter by Gamer G. Now, as many of you know, I'm still blocked on Twitter up until Saturday, so a lot of the times I won't get the notifications until I actually go onto my timeline and actually see the actual post. And this story right here is going to prove without the shadow of a doubt, not that any other cases have not also proven the same thing, of how law enforcement deals with us versus how they deal with someone that looks like them if they're palm colored. So this story actually just happened a few hours ago. I'm actually recording this on August 28th, 2019 at 5:11 a.m. I'm actually pretty wide awake right now. But this story happened in Virginia, where you have this individual in this picture on the right. His name is Matthew Bernard. He's 19 years old. And if you look in the picture to the left of him, you see, you're trying to figure out what's going on here. Well, that's him right there on the far left of that picture. And they blurred out the midsection of his body because he has no clothes on. He is completely naked, but they blurred it out for TV purposes. But if you also look to the right of him, that's a law enforcement officer. That's a cop right there. And it looks like he's running away from this guy. And it's because he is. I'm going to actually post the video that was tagged to me in the comments, and you can watch the entire exchange right there. So basically what happened is you have this Matthew Bernard guy who was wanted on a triple homicide. I'm going to say that again. He was wanted on a triple homicide. He had just killed 3 people, and he is running out there butt naked. And you have this cop who's literally running away from this guy. And there's actually some other pictures as well. Let me pull this up right quick. Look at this. This is him. He is attacking another innocent bystander who could have been victim number 4. And I'm gonna show you another one. Here's where they got him off of him, and he's still running. The only reason I'm showing this picture is because you can't see nothing because the cop is blocking his body. There's another one, but I'm not going to show that one. But look at how they treated him. Now, this all was happening after the exchange with the cop in this one where he's running away. Now, if you look right around here, you can tell that the cop has a military style weapon on him. One pop is all it would take in order to get rid of him, or to stop him at least. They did not once shoot this man with a regular gun. They didn't even tase him. I think they apprehended him in the picture I just showed where the cop actually was hitting him with the nightstick. But look at how long it took for them to actually get him. Mind you, this guy is completely unarmed, but he just killed 3 people. And then you'll have some people that will say race doesn't play a role in this. I said, oh, really? Does anybody recognize this guy? No? Well, let me refresh your memory. A few years ago, there was an individual by the name of Anthony Hill. As you can see, that's him right there, and right next to him, that's his family. That's his parents. He was graduating from basic training or military school. I'm not entirely sure, but it might have been basic training for a branch in the military, most likely. He was suffering from a mental illness in which he walked out of his house completely naked, walked down the street. People had called, law enforcement because they was worried about seeing a guy butt naked walking through the neighborhood. And what happened was they drew their guns on him and they shot and killed him. The reasoning? They feared for their life. Now, this guy, Anthony Hill, did not murder anybody. He did not attack anybody. He had an actual mental illness that was actually documented from his doctors, and they killed him anyway. But they want us to believe that race does not play a factor from this story to this story. And this guy actually murdered people. And they let him get away. This also reminds me of the other story that I did a couple weeks ago, where you had this white guy. Now, he wasn't naked, but he was going around harming people, and he actually had a weapon. And it took them a while for them to actually put him down. So they fear for their life only when it comes to us, no matter what, even if we are butt ass naked and have no weapon on us whatsoever. Like, where was Anthony Hill going to put that weapon at? I mean, where? This guy had no weapon on him that we know of, but he was still able to manage to kill 3 people and attack another person. Now, see, this falls on the fault of this cop right here in the picture that's running away from him. Because of him, he was able to go attack another innocent bystander, the one that I showed you in that previous picture. Like I said, I'm going to post the link to the video down below so you can actually see the exchange for yourself. Like, it looks pathetic of seeing this guy who's naked run and chase this cop who has this big gun, and he never once uses it. Then you have those Blue Lives Matter people try to actually say, well, he probably had a mental illness, this, that, and the third. No, fuck all of that. This man just killed 3 people, and you're running away from him, and he's unarmed. He has no clothes on, and you opt to run instead. And you have this military style weapon on you, and you choose to run. We know what the deal is. These damn apologists know what it is too, but they'll never bring themselves to admit it, because if they do, they will be getting off code, and they can't afford to do that. They refuse to do it. And it's eating their asses up right now as we speak, to be quite honest. And see, I just brought you a good example with the Anthony Hill situation, because I had read a comment under the Facebook post in which I saw the video, where someone said something about, well, he was naked. I forgot what the person said. And I said, oh, really? I didn't respond to it, but I was waiting to see if somebody would acknowledge it, and somebody did. Shut their whole conversation down. But it really is something that, you know, it's that whole us versus them thing. I have to give a shout out to the Jedi for coining that phrase a couple years ago. It is us versus them. It always has been, and it always will be. But like I said, they will continue to allow them to get away with anything. And see, this cop didn't do this because he probably saw his own son in him. See, of course, they're going to care about their own. Everybody's going to care about their own. But like I said, if this was a black person that was running around naked after he did what he did, he wouldn't have made it to jail. The video wouldn't have lasted that long. I'll give you another example. Do y'all remember this guy? This is Saheed Vassell. If you don't remember, back in 2018, I believe it was, last year, this guy had a mental illness, and he was running around New York with a shower head, and they said he was pointing at people like it was a gun. But see, they didn't take the time to investigate to see what he actually had. They just straight up killed him on the spot for the most part. They didn't evaluate that this guy wasn't all the way right in the head. I mean, what are you going to shoot out of a shower head? Little droplets of water? But see, it goes back to the whole thing that they will only take up for that behavior that comes from that community when it's a mental illness. When it comes to us, there is no mental illness. We automatically know what we're doing. We're all of a sudden right in the head. But with them, they have no control over their bodies and what it is that they do. And also, like Anthony Hill, this man did not kill anybody. But Anthony Hill and Saheed Vassell are both dead, and this piece of shit is still alive. And he actually killed 3 people in that day while all of this was going on. So what does that tell you? You know, they got to save him. They got to think of his future. He's only 19. You know, he's young. He has a whole lot of life to live. Well, guess what? Those other 2 guys still had the rest of their lives to live, but you know how that goes here in the establishment known as the United States of America. And I'm side-eyeing the United part. But yeah, when I was sent this, I already knew what direction it was heading in, and I already knew what I was going to say coming into this commentary. I didn't even read one piece of the article because I already got all I needed just based on the video that I watched alone. And I even watched the video with the sound on. Like, to be honest, it looked like a comedy skit. It did. It looked like it should have been something from a comedy movie, like the way that it was playing out. If you play it with no sound, you're probably going to shake your head at it and chuckle a little bit, but be like, damn, that's fucked up, because had it been us, there would not have been any running away. They would have been the aggressor, and they would have been shot on sight. But with this, as you can see, who's running towards who, but who has the gun and who doesn't. That cop had the upper hand the entire time, but chose not to use it. The guy with the nightstick was more intent than the guy with the gun. What does that tell you? It's like they're trained to only go after a certain image. And it has been proven time and time again that that's the case. And nobody can really prove to me any different. Again, I said, this guy killed 3 people, attacked an innocent bystander. He chased down the cop. And when you look at the video, he's running towards the cop from a pretty good distance. Like, you can tell he's been chasing after this cop for a minute. Maybe not a long minute, but a minute nonetheless. And literally chasing them around in this open space right here, where anybody could come out of their house. And if he spots them, he can run towards them. And my thing is this. I'm not sure if he went after the innocent bystander before or after their encounter, but if they went after them, excuse me, after, then that means that the cop literally allowed this Matthew Bernard guy to go after an innocent bystander when he could have easily just shot him. That shows even more incompetence. They need to find out who this cop is, and he needs to be fired, and he doesn't need to be transferred to another division or to another department, because he's proven he's not capable of doing his job. But they want us to believe that blue lives matter, and they want to say that they have the most dangerous job. That could have been that. He could have ended that right there, but he decided not to. I mean, that was protocol because he was charging at him, right? And that would also mean that he was resisting arrest, right? But let's just stick with the charging part. He was charging towards him, meaning his life actually was in danger. Like, that would have been a good time for him to use the I fear for my lifeline, and it would have stuck. But they don't even like using the I fear for my life thing when it comes to them. This right here actually is a better case study than the one I keep talking about with the cop in the exchange with him and the other palm colored guy, in which he stole his cruiser. Because I don't think he killed anybody. I think it was just a traffic stop or something like that. This guy actually murdered people, attacked somebody else, and he's still alive. I'm going to end the video on this note. I think my point has been more than proven. Like I said, I will leave the link to the actual video. It's like the raw video down. Hopefully it'll still be up by the time I upload this video. So that means I'm going to have to upload it ASAP. But y'all let me know what y'all think about it down in the comments, and I will talk to you in the next one.